Little House on the Prairie won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
Benji.
I feel love. It's all around. Hey, what am I doing here? Singing the theme song to Benji.
Charlie Rich Night.
You didn't know Wilma Daring
Rhythm
was actually Charlie Rich.
Wow.
It was at a time where it was hard for women to break through in country gospel music.
Right.
And
just ask Dolly Parton.
She came back in time.
Yeah.
This is our first show in our Dog Days of Summer, August.
Yeah, it's August. It's hot. It's hot outside.
Starting out with the very positive, very sweet Benji. Then we're going to completely switch gears and go into
special for next Friday, for Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Scary time.
And then we're going to have little Scooby-Doo, and and then a little something for the stepdads.
It'll be good. It'll be good. Dog Days of Summer.
Exactly. So we figured the best way to start it off is with like the sweetest movie ever made.
It's so sweet.
By the sweetest man who ever made movies.
It's so heartwarming and so good.
Oh, yeah.
Take yourself back to 1974.
Ooh.
August 3rd, 4,288 dogs are entered into the Brobdingnag... No, man, I'm going to have a hard time saying this.
Say it 3 times fast.
I had literally practiced it about 8 times. Brobdingnagian Santa Barbara Kennel Club show. Now
do you know why it's called Brobdingnagian?
Yes. It means colossal large. It was about big dogs.
Why are you shaking your fist at me like a politician while you say this?
I have become Mussolini.
Yeah, you have.
Because this is how I was able to say it. The word is so weird.
Brobdingnagian personality.
It's from Gulliver's Travels.
Oh, okay.
It's the giants. They're from
Brobdingnagia?
Yeah. Anyway, it was the most dogs entered into a kennel club show in 35 years.
Good Lord, did it last a year? How do you get through all those dogs?
I have no idea.
There must be like an inspection period.
Dogs. There's different categories, I guess. But still, the dog that had won like 3 years in a row or something. So.
Well, then they all wasted their time, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
It's all politics, baby, at the Brobdingnagian
in Santa
Barbara Kennel Club. We all know that.
Yeah, there's a lot of corruption. A lot of corruption going on there. August 20th, NBC debuts Tackles the Dog to help explain new NFL rule changes.
That's how I learned. As a child.
Apparently in 1974, they had changed a bunch of penalties or something.
Yeah.
And they actually had success with a living, breathing hockey puck that explained hockey rules the year before.
Nice.
This was created by Hanna-Barbera. Tackles the Dog was done very well. They would not disclose how much it cost them to make Tackles the Dog.
$8 billion.
Which was odd. But he would come on.
It's weird. We can't talk about the finances here.
Yeah, it was super weird. It's
part of the NDA.
To go back a little bit, 1974, June 21st is when Where the Red Fern Grows is released, majorly bumming out audiences.
My God,
everywhere.
I remember in grade school, our teacher reading us, because we back in the day you would have reading period.
Yeah.
Where the teacher would read for like an hour, and she read Where the Red Fern Grows, and my God, when she got to the end of that book, every child was just bawling she was bawling her eyes out. It was it was horrifying. It was child abuse.
I know I read this book when I was young.
Great book.
But
Good God.
I think I blocked most of it out because I read the synopsis and man, it is just
run them through it for people
punch.
Who do not know.
Double punch. The dog at the end attacks a cougar attacks the boy. And the dog.
Well, let's just back it up a bit.
I'm sorry.
Who's the boy and the dog?
The boy. I don't remember. Doesn't matter. There's 2 dogs and they're in love and they're great. And then the dog saves the boy and it's awesome and he's great, but he gets hurt.
Yeah.
And he doesn't make it. Uncle Dan or Little Dan or whatever
Uncle Danny buries the dog.
And then the thing that really is messed up is that the little girl dog who was in love with little Uncle Dan goes to his grave and then dies.
Yeah, because that's where the red fern grows.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Everybody's probably crying. I'm crying right now. It's horrible.
It's a kid's book.
Well, kids were not protected from reality back in the day when we were free-range Gen X kids. They basically, it was the opposite. They shoved really inappropriate things in our faces, and I'm not just talking about the Catholic Church. No, I'm horrible joke. But seriously, yeah, I mean, they didn't sugarcoat stuff, No,
I mean, evidence from your stepdad.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
He's raping him.
What's that?
Traumatizing.
So
just to be clear, I'm talking about Deliverance.
Deliverance,
not my stepdad doing anything inappropriate to me.
No.
He never did that. It was the movie he exposed me to.
But it's very possible that Where the Red Fern Grows was a reason why Joe Camp, who created Benji.
Yeah.
There was a thing, and this is going to be weird and kind of technical, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to go through it.
Do it.
It was important as to how Benji was created. There is a distribution model called the four-wall distribution concept. Exactly, I know. The idea, what you need to know, is that distribution companies would rent out entire theaters. They would pay for every seat, and then that way when the movie was being shown, every ticket sale would go to them. But it had the adverse effect of making it look like the movies were way more successful than they actually were.
Yeah. And they could afford to do that. The studios could. The independents could not.
And what this did, and what Joe Camp realized, is that they would throw the G rating onto everything, and they would do this four-wall distribution where they would just rent out the theaters, and people would think they're being highly successful. And the movies got really boring and really bad because there was no actual, market.
Yeah, mainstream... The 70s was great for independent cinema, but a lot of the mainstream stuff was just glop.
Watered down, just got bad.
It was just, let's throw together some crap and try to make some money.
Yeah, in fact, in 1977, with an interview with Variety magazine, Joe Camp said, quote, "It has become an industry-caused thing, but the G-rated classification has to some degree become, if it's G, it can't be for me." Which, I mean, is honest. I mean, because I remember being, in the late 70s, early 80s, like G-rated, even as a young kid, I was like, these are just boring.
I mean, there were some that were. It's weird because the rating system kind of came around
the time
I was growing up. Yeah, I mean, because what was it, like 69, 70?
No, it was like the early. No, yeah. I think it was like 67, something like that.
I think it was during the Easy Rider days when things were, because everything was being released as adults only or X-rated, and they needed to find a way to kind of bridge that gap. I think.
So the whole point is that this whole four-wall distribution, Joe Camp was like, I want to make something good. I want my family to like it. I want kids to like it. I'm going to make something interesting. And so he had the idea to create Benji. The little scruffy dog that he it just has little adventures.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's such a simple movie.
Yeah,
but so sweet, I think it's one of the first movies I saw in the theater. If I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, I mean, it was just a dog.
Just a dog. Yeah, I mean,
and
literally,
his buddies.
There is more dog walking montages.
Oh my God,
that movie.
80% of that movie is Benji running
that same music over and over again, and it's not a bad thing. No. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Benji's a good runner.
Really like it. Yeah. He trots very well. He has a weird thing with his back leg. And you don't ever really notice, but he has that one tooth.
Well, he was an old man. They brought him. He thought he was out, but they brought him back in. Yeah. He was a retired baby boy.
Yeah, he was. So Joe Camp is he's a Christian person, but he isn't preachy about it. He's got released books about horses. Yeah. Like he loves animals.
Yes. And the Benji movies don't have any sort of preachy Christian undertones.
Not at all.
It's just, about a good boy.
It's about how treating other people nice, and that way you get treated nice.
And a good boy.
So he had this idea to make Benji, and went to all the Hollywood studios and said, "Hey, I have this great idea. It's a dog-centered movie. It'll be great." And they all said, "No.
Sounds too complicated.
Yeah.
Sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, it sounds ridiculous.
Sounds too expensive.
Why would we do that?
Who wants to watch a dog?"
So he teamed up with Ed Vanston, and they found a bunch of private investors and raised the money themselves. The movie cost about $500,000.
It's a lot of money in the 70s.
And that's a lot of money to raise.
Yeah.
I mean, especially just for hey, it's a dog movie.
Yes.
But he was from, Joe Camp was from Texas. He shot the movie in Texas. It was used almost exclusively in Denton, Texas, but then there were some other places. It was mostly local people. Mostly TV actors. Like he was able to pull in some, I don't know, say favors.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
But but not, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm saying I'm guessing that kept the budget down.
Sure. But these were, it was good to have a few really recognizable TV faces as Benji's buds. Like, we had Frances Bouvier. Bouvier.
I assume it's Bouvier. Ooh. Yeah.
Andy. She was Aunt B.
Aunt B, yeah.
In all of the Mayberry series.
All those, Andy Griffith.
Andy Griffith Show and Mayberry RFD. But she was an amazing, sweet lady.
My favorite scene in Benji is when Benji does not chase the cat, and she's so upset. Like, why aren't you chasing my cat?
She plays this one. Benji has a routine every morning. He goes to visit his buds. Benji is an independent little guy but he's got a lot of buds, and he does things like he brings the newspaper to the little kids in the family that he likes, and then he goes and wakes up the old diner owner who's I think from Green Acres. Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, that was Edgar Buchanan.
How you doing, little guy? Who then they work together.
Yeah, he was on Petticoat Junction.
The dog and.
Edgar Buchanan and the dog were on Petticoat Junction. The dog was played by Higgins. He was a dog. Edgar Buchanan and the dog had a very special relationship. I know that sounds weird.
This is a
because
good show.
Everyone is cynical now.
Yes.
But
they were really good pals. They were
together
for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
He would hold him in all the publicity pictures for Petticoat Junction and.
Yeah, he always made sure Edgar really liked Higgins. Mm-hmm. They got along really well, and he made sure he was always with that dog.
I love that guy's voice.
But he didn't. Also, when he was in Green Acres and Beverly Hillbillies, like the dog would come along and like he would shoot with him there.
Yeah, they were really good buds.
Yeah, it was actually both Francis Bavier and Edgar Buchanan. It was their last movie they did.
And Higgins.
And Higgins, yes. Yeah. But they retired.
Let's just say that Higgins retired to
he did technically.
A farm in the sky.
Well, that's the weird thing is that he was 16 years old when he was shooting.
He doesn't look that old. He plays young well.
Except for that one tooth, man. That one tooth. It is certain shots and certain pictures. Like he's got this front left.
But come on, Higgins was a wunderkind. He was an amazing dog. One of the smartest dogs in motion picture history.
Yes.
And according to the trainer, the smartest animal he ever worked with.
Frank Inn, who was a professional animal trainer, he found Higgins in 1960 as a puppy in a Burbank animal shelter.
Oh,
I
want that movie.
I know exactly the life of Higgins.
Yeah.
I agree. He was this little fluffy black and tan mixed breed dog. He was marked
super cute,
very cute. They thought he was maybe a mix of miniature poodle, cocker spaniel, and schnauzer. But he was a mutt. At the end of the day, he was a mutt.
That's the greatest thing about him. He wasn't like a Doberman Pinscher or
it wasn't a super purebred. Mm-hmm. It was just this little mutt dog.
Mangy little mutt.
Ran around town and made
lives in a
people
haunted
happy.
House. lives in a haunted house.
Which he has the longest roundabout way to get down. Every time he goes up, and I'm like, I get it. You got to get inside the house somehow, right?
He goes. He
but
climbs
why not
up a
live
fence
on the second floor?
Because he needs his exercise. He's an old dog, and he needs his exercise. He needs to get those joints going so he doesn't get the rheumatiz.
It's really obvious when he's bringing Tiffany in, and I'm like, it just keeps going and going, and I was like, that poor little dog is
Tiffany
like, where are you taking me?
is a lovely little lady dog that he meets in a trash can. And they kind of fall in love. She
was in his trash can, yeah.
Yes. She's a cute little dog. Looks like a Maltese maybe, or a Bichon, or maybe a mix of the two.
Yeah, probably mix of the two.
But,
a little muddish too, but not as much.
There's a definite Lady and the Tramp vibe with the two of them.
Oh, yeah.
They even look like Lady and the Tramp. She's white and he's like a little scruffer.
Joe Cam did say that Lady and the Tramp was a inspiration for this. Yeah. He loved the old Disney movies.
Yeah.
Although he also mentioned Song of the South, which I was like,
it was a different time back then.
That's true. But
it hadn't been banned yet. We hadn't realized how incredibly racist that film is. We did, but we didn't recognize and shun it.
It didn't. Yeah. So Frank Inn, who trained Higgins, 100%. He trained originally Arnold Ziffel, the pig from Green Acres.
Okay, if you all haven't seen Green Acres, that pig was it's probably since Babe the most famous pig in America.
Yes,
that pig went to fairs. It was on TV and guest spots.
He was like doing the cons before the cons even existed.
Old Mr. Ziffel, they used to call him.
I didn't realize his last name was Ziffel. I thought it was just Arnold. So
Arnold the Pig is what they called him. But Mr. Ziffel, you couldn't look him in the eye on set.
Oh.
You had to call him Mr. Ziffel.
It was in his contract.
If there were any pork products on set, he wouldn't work. He was very temperamental. Not like Higgins, who was very easy to get along with.
Higgins was very easy to get along with.
That's why you don't see Benji the pig movie. You saw
That's
Benji
true.
the dog movie.
Benji the puppy. That's true. So Frank Inn trained all the animals used during the Waltons and Beverly Hillbillies and Petticoat Junction, Green Acres, all these TV shows. Higgins was most famous for Petticoat Junction. He was on for 6 or 7 seasons, 149 episodes.
Wow.
149. Now the thing is that, and Frank Inn says this, he was the smartest, most trainable animal he'd ever worked with.
Yeah.
At least once or twice every episode, he would give him a new trick, give him something new to train, and the
Taught
dog
him to play the piano.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it was chopsticks, but still, it's playing the piano.
He did it.
I don't know if he did. I'm kidding.
He did. Did you? No, it was. But the dog would remember, even like
years and years later,
he would be like, "Hey, let's do that thing," and the dog would do it.
Yeah.
Like he really understood.
Which is completely bizarre for a dog to have that kind of retention.
Yes.
Any animal, really.
Yes.
It doesn't have. They don't have the same concept of time or the same concept of memory.
No.
That we do.
Yeah,
It's usually scent, and but it was crazy. It's a testament to the trainer, and it's a testament to the dog. And how great would it be to have such a easygoing? That's why he was on for 6 seasons, because it was just, here's a treat, learn it. What a great.
I'm just gonna hang out and chill and until you tell me to do something.
Nice life.
He lucked out. I mean, I guess they both lucked out.
Sure, but snatched
what a
from
great life. Yeah.
That's why I think we should make the
life story of Higgins.
Higgins, the greatest dog you've never known.
The dog you thought you knew.
I'll do the voice.
Oh.
Actually, it's.
Oh yeah.
He's
he was much
not
higher
a
pitched.
great.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. And your ears.
Yeah. So so because of that, he knew Edgar Buchanan. They were together. You can see in the movie in Benji like how the best part about this movie, and when you rewatch Benji, which you will after you finish this episode.
It's on Amazon right now.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime, so totally watch it. You can tell that the scenes between Bill, Edgar Buchanan, the cafe owner, and him are really amazing because it's him being able to interact with Higgins as Higgins.
Yeah.
Like he's not having to, it's just letting the dog be the dog, and the dog's so excited to see him.
Yeah.
Like,
it was a very organic movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had his buddies. He had the family that he liked that he wanted to keep him.
Yeah.
The little babies.
Hide him under the table.
Hide him from the horrible dad who would.
Horrible dad who was not a horrible person.
I know. This is what I love. It's like even the bad characters, except for one, aren't really that bad. And that's what's kind of great about it. And the dad, he thought that the dog had diseases and something. What it was, diseases and something else. Fleases. And
the fleas and the disease. Yeah.
He just didn't want it around his kids. And
which it's really odd because like the mother's obviously gone.
Yeah, we don't know how, she was murdered obviously by the husband, buried in the yard. The maid helped. She's a little too friendly. Yeah.
Benji was actually trying to solve the mom's murder.
He's digging up that grave every chance. We get away from there. We can't have Benji. We can't have him here. But he knows too much.
It just seemed odd because it didn't seem like he was a doctor. Like he didn't seem like he was a bad guy.
No, it's just that like dad thing.
Yeah,
back
but
then.
think with like the mom gone, it's like get a dog. That's like the perfect way.
Adam, we're talking about a '70s dad. Okay, a '70s dad doesn't have time for shenanigans, and a '70s dad automatically says no. Yeah, it's just a reaction.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point.
They always said no. The first one you'll get a yes maybe eventually, but you're going to have to go through 5 or 6 no's.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. It was just
and there needed to be a little bit of tension in that movie. We wouldn't really have had a movie if he was like, yeah, sure.
Wait, not the haunted house wasn't enough?
Well, it was very scary.
The grown man being afraid of the dark wasn't enough.
Well, so Benji.
Sorry, back to Higgins. Okay.
Back to Higgy. Higgy, baby.
Higgins was great. He actually retired in 1971. His last film was Mooch Goes to Hollywood with Zsa Zsa Gabor and Vincent Price.
Yeah. Zsa Zsa Gabor is the reason why he retired. She was so difficult to work with. Always screaming at him, throwing stuff, blaming him for missing her marks, for messing up her lines. It was...
She kept saying how much better Arnold was.
Yes. No, she worked with him too because she was on Petticoat Junction.
Yeah.
She had a rep in her later life of being a little. She was great on Petticoat.
Though. Oh, fantastic! I mean, they were fantastic. Yeah.
Hello, darling.
So at 11, he retired, and he had a pretty good career. He had a good job.
It's a good run, baby.
Joe Camp needed a dog. And
like I said, he wanted out, but they brought him back in.
Frank In was like, yeah, let's do this. Like we can do it. And Benji was amazing.
Yeah.
Like the shoot, it wasn't a terribly long shoot because the movie was not overly complicated.
No, but I mean, it was complicated to get the dogs to do a lot of the stuff. I mean, his complicated route up to the house was pretty impressive.
Running back and forth from the kid's house to the haunted house.
No, I'm talking about jumping up the fence.
Oh, that's true, because
even
Tiffany had problems.
Yeah, there's that cute part where she first visits the haunted house. When she has a little trouble, she's all struggling to get her little butt up there. And instead of going and helping her, he's just like, come on, Tiffany. I don't have all day. Ruff, ruff, ruff.
I'm so old, I can't pull you up.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm tired.
With my snaggletooth.
So his after Benji retired, after Higgins retired, and Benji was the last movie he did. Mm-hmm. He eventually did pass. It was very sad. He was 4 weeks away from his 18th birthday.
That is an amazing run for a dog.
Yeah, especially the fact that he was a working dog.
Yeah.
Well,
that's probably, it's a cliche, but it's probably what kept him young, is he was always being engaged and
that's true.
Playing
that's a good point.
And learning. Yeah. And I think dogs that survive longer have a much more rich life. If you have a dog that's just chained up in the back of the yard.
Yeah, hangs out.
But if you have a dog that's always playing and running and jumping. And
he's going to, that's true. That's a good point.
Treat your dogs well, people. Play with them, damn it. They need attention. Outside. They're not just accessories.
In college, I had a roommate who had a Dalmatian. And Dalmatians, more than any other breed, need exercise.
Because they're the dumbest breed there is.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing.
I'm just saying.
But they are active.
Yeah,
they're
that's science.
Very active dogs.
Yes, because they're dumb.
And he was so deathly afraid of someone stealing the Dalmatian that he just never walked the dog.
That poor dog.
The dog peed the bed every day.
Yeah.
Literally every day.
Out of anxiety and out of stress. And
it was so stressed out. There were like 5 or 6 of us living in the house in college. And we would literally, when the owner was gone, we would steal the dog away and run him around and like all this stuff.
You're good people.
We were. He was a good dog. So in the future, there were more Benji movies after this, and actually one of Higgins' daughters actually played Benji. The dog's name was Benjine.
Benjine. She was really upset about that name in an interview with, I think it was the Hollywood Reporter. Benjine was saying that she was constantly mistaken for Ben Vereen. And
Benjine
Ben Vereen. And she was like, hey, could you just change my name to Benjina? And he's like, no, it sounds more like vagina. Look.
All right.
1978, Hollywood Reporter, issue 266.
Oh, wow. All right.
Benji Ben Vereen.
All right. Benji, yeah, she played the Benji for a couple times. She looked a little different. Despite obviously not having the male
penis
parts, her face was a little different. And it got even more confusing because in future VHS releases they would use Benji on the cover of all of the movies.
Course, yeah.
And so people were like, "I'm confused. The dog looks weird and different." Yeah. And she actually did more movies because she was younger. She started.
She wasn't retired
when 16.
Exactly.
But he's actually been played by 4 other dogs besides Benjine throughout the 40-plus years.
Benjine was cute as hell, though. She was just so cute.
That's Benjine is the Benji that I grew up with.
Mm-hmm. That's I'm same. I think I saw the original Benji in the theater, but I didn't remember it as much. I was such a toddler, but such a stupid toddler. But I do remember For the Love of Benji, and then Benji the Hunted. But I was a little old for Benji the Hunted, but I still dug it. It was still a fun. It was an exciting movie.
It was a thriller. Yeah, it was a thriller. It was good.
Benji had to rescue a couple of cubs, man. I think they were they cougar cubs?
Yeah, mountain lions, I think.
Mountain lion cubs?
Something like that. Yeah.
He had to take them through and protect them from bears and poachers and all sorts of stuff.
So once the film...
R,
it was rated R.
Gore.
Eventually, Benji had a machine gun and was taking out
bit the head off of one of the poachers.
Oh.
And then urinated in it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a really rough. It was around the time of.
I love that this is our most family-oriented movie.
Well, it was around the time that Rambo came out, so they were competing with a lot of.
I was just thinking Rambo. It's just Benji sitting in the back of a truck with a gun,
mowing down poachers and bears. It was a bloody mess, but if you can stomach it, it's worth a watch.
I used to confuse Benji and Rambo back when I was young.
Most people did.
Yeah, it was. It was the sweat. It was always the sweat. So once the movie was done, Joe Camp, they finished the movie, cost $500,000. He tried to go to Hollywood again and said, look, I have a finished film.
Yeah.
It's a good family movie. Mm-hmm. People will like it. And everyone said, no.
No thanks, buddy.
Like what? It blows my mind. And Joe Camp, being Joe Camp, created his own distribution company. He booked and supervised almost all of the screenings for the first 3 or 4 months that the movie was released.
That's impressive.
And that's work. I used to work for an international film distribution company, and it is work.
Yeah, well, think of doing it without email.
Yeah.
Only by telephone.
Literally
and
just
snail
calling
mail
and making sure. And
driving around, and it was not convenient to do business back then.
But Joe Camp and his industrious spirit won out, and the movie eventually grossed almost $40 million. In
1973.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We were talking about Lucas with American Graffiti.
Yeah,
he made that for $700,000. Yeah. That's another. These two independent films in the 70s were just insane. And
huge.
A family film about a dog that basically 70% of the movie is kind of just running around until they get to the plot of kidnapping. And not in a bad way. I mean, it's just such a, I don't know, watching it the other night was very refreshing.
It's so sweet.
Yeah.
It's just so sweet.
You're just watching pups.
It's so, it's just fun to watch this dog. I don't even say fun, but it's very satisfying.
Right.
Of just seeing this pure thing happening on the screen.
Yeah, there's no, it's very simple story. This dog has buds. He goes to the house of the kids. Then he goes to see.
He has different names.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
He's Benji from the kids. He's Sam, I think.
Sam to the cop, I think.
Or is it Sam to the?
I think it.
To the owner of the restaurant?
Maybe. It's Sam or Mac or something.
Sure.
But yeah.
And then he goes and wakes up the diner owner, and the diner owner's like, I want to close the shop now, Sam, or whatever I call you. Yeah, maybe in a year or two.
Yeah.
And then he gives him a bone. And then he takes the bones home and puts them in a suitcase. He has a suitcase full of bones, which is so bizarre.
I don't understand what that even
But
means.
after he goes with the bone, he goes through Frances Bouvier's yard and chases her cat up a tree. Her cute little white cat. But it's all part of the process because she grabs the cat and it's like, he looks a little skinny today.
Yeah.
And then Adam's favorite part.
Yeah, that's the beautiful setup of it, is that when you first see it, you're like, oh, he's just chasing this cat.
Well, he has a routine, yeah.
Yeah, but then you get to the point when he's not there and you realize how much he means to these people.
Right. When he misses his routine, everybody gets worried and concerned.
Notices.
Where is he?
Yeah,
and then he goes to a cop who gives him love advice all the time.
He wants him to
smooth.
He needs him to get
you got to
married.
settle down.
Settle down there,
Ben or
Sam or
Juji or whatever
Sean
you call him.
Whatever. Yeah.
But his heart belongs to the kids.
Yeah.
The two little kids.
Oh,
and he loves those kids. And then those kids get kidnapped and coincidentally taken to Benji's home, which is a haunted house. And Benji rescues the kids, or is the catalyst for the rescue of the children.
Yeah.
What happens is, I'm just going to ruin this film for everybody.
You should watch it anyway.
But still, it's just...
It doesn't matter. The plot doesn't really matter.
What's so great is they write a ransom note, and it's just not the right one, because I guess he was writing it with his left hand, and he couldn't read it or something.
Yeah.
So they crumple it up and throw it down, and then they write another ransom note. And the way that Benji saves the kids is he finds the crumpled up note, brings it to the cops who are at the little kid's house. One of the kidnappers is there, the woman kidnapper. She intercepts the note, sticks it in her purse.
I did not see coming.
Yeah, and we're all like, oh my God, the kids are dead. They're dead. Murdered. and then Benji, he has to do what he never thought he'd have to do. Bite his buddy. And he bit that the maid.
The poor maid.
The poor maid. And then he grabbed that purse and he got the note out and he saved them babies. And then the dad was like, I don't care about those diseases. We're going to keep Benji. And oh my God. Oh, skip the worst part. The absolute worst part of the entire movie.
Okay, please.
Okay. Before Benji goes to rescue the children, Tiffany and he are hiding in the haunted house. His house. It's his house that they've come into, by the way. He's been stealing pudding cups and stuff, so they think it's really haunted because the food disappears.
The two Goonie guys,
it's perfect Goonie guys.
The one tall one is scared of the dark. Like, they think the house is haunted. It's, it's that neighborhood house that everybody knows and whatever. And so he doesn't want to be there after dark.
Yeah.
Oh, God, we can't be there after dark.
No, so Benji he takes the note, and then the really bad guy, who's the bad guy.
He's the out-of-towner bad guy.
Yeah, who changed all the rules.
He did. He wasn't,
We didn't sign up for this, bad guy. And he says, you just stay where you are, do what you're told.
And that's when he pulls the gun out. And and I will say this, and this is brilliant on Joe Camp's part. Mm-hmm. It's brilliant directed. The weird little flashback to Benji's former owner being a cop. Yep. Like, it was done so spot on and so well.
And then it gets beaten over our heads for 20 minutes. Because, well, what happens is, so they draw the gun, he grabs Benji, because Benji's got that note, the second note. Yeah. I'm going to bring it to the cops.
Yeah.
So Tiff comes out of nowhere, bites the bad guy,
she fights. Yeah.
And then Benji gets away, and then the bad guy kicks little baby Tiffany so hard.
Oh,
she looks dead. And then Benji looks back. He's so heartbroken. But he knows he has to go on. He has to save the children. He can't worry about Tiffany right now. So we're all, so he does this run. I think it's like a 45-minute real-time run to the house that is just flashbacks of, we get to see his owner, who was a cop, get killed. So we realize that he's an orphan because his owner was a police officer who was killed in line of duty. So the duty. We see that flashback over and over. But unfortunately, we see the kick of the dog over and over.
It's like, I get it, Joe. Stop showing it, Joe.
Please, you're traumatizing every child in here. Nobody wants to watch little Tiffany die.
The movie made $40 million. It's a lot of people saw that.
But just so everybody, because I know my sister's like this. I think Phoebe's like this. If people know that a dog is going to die or something, and you don't warn them, they're like, F you, man.
Yeah. Oh, they're mad.
Tiff doesn't die. Tiff's okay.
Yeah,
she had a little broken leg.
Yeah, she's fine.
But because Benji was able to save the kids, he and Tiff have a home that they can go to and leave. He can still see his buds, but he's got a home base.
He knows
it's a happy ending because it's not Benji the Hunted, which is this horrible Rambo ripoff. But no, it's just such a sweet movie. If you're in the mood to just watch some sweet 70s goodness.
It is like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
It's nice. I mean, the world's weird right now and everything's messed up. And this is it's nice to open up that nostalgia door and bask in its glow of sweetness and pureness.
Yeah, and it has strong female characters and it has strong African American characters. The cop is an African American, and for the time, it's pretty progressive. It's 1974 we're talking about. So you got to give a movie its props for doing the right thing back then.
Yeah. So the character of Benji has appeared in 7 different movies. Besides the movies, he cameoed in a couple movies.
Yeah, not just Benji movies.
Not just Benji movies. Yeah, he cameoed in a movie called Haumps.
Haumps. It's spelled Hawmps. So how would you pronounce it?
I don't know.
Haumps.
I swear to God, when I started researching this and I saw it, I was like, what in the world?
I'm pretty sure I've seen it.
It's a Joe Camp movie. He made this after his success with Benji. But it was a story about, I believe it's set during World War I. Like it's the 1910s, teens, whatever. Yeah. But it's them trying to bring camels into the Mojave Desert to create a new, army reserve or army regiment or something.
What a bizarre
thing
to make. I mean, it's a true story. No, it's a great movie. It's interesting. But
yeah, to be like, I gotta make this movie.
That was his passion project, was
Haumps, which Benji cameoed in.
He did. Not as a not as a camel.
He actually played a camel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did he have humps?
He had double humps.
Humps. Well, isn't that a dromedary? What is
Dromedary.
Dromedary. Isn't that a dromedary with 2 humps, and a camel has 1?
No, they're both dromedary. I thought they were both dromedary. Nah, dude, we're going into camel territory now.
Camel
I
toes.
know. I think they're all called dromedaries, but I think there is a
What was
difference.
Joe Camel?
He was a cartoon character that killed a lot of people.
He did. He had a penis for a nose.
But he looked cool doing it.
We have a Joe Camel dartboard.
We do,
at the
actually.
Gen X headquarters.
Yeah.
Courtesy of my stepdad. He smoked a ton of Camel cigarettes.
What's that?
To get
I never knew that.
Yep. I think he had so much Camel gear when they used to give out Camel bucks. He's like, what do you want? He saved up for that for me, which is super sweet. But he had tons of lighters and all caps and all sorts of stuff that you would get from Camel bucks. And then they realized that it was too many kids were getting into the, Camel buck
surprise!
stuff,
It's an animated character smoking.
But he did, and it's an awesome dartboard.
Yeah, it is. It's really great.
Professional grade.
It's really nice. It's really
With
nice.
old penis nose Camel Joe.
So then after that, Joe Camp also did it was like a spy mystery thriller called The Double MacGuffin.
Ooh, not just one MacGuffin.
No, there were 2 MacGuffins.
So don't trust. So it's the third person is the bad guy. Way to go, Joe Camp. Give it away in the title.
I've not seen either of these movies, and I mean I kind of want to because
you haven't seen Hounds?
I don't think I've ever seen Hounds. I actually knew the story about the camel thing a long time ago because of the La Brea Tar Pits, the museum there. They have camels because camels were originally from North America, and then they emigrated over the Bering Strait.
Right.
And then they evolved enough that now they literally can't live here anymore because they tried to do it during World War I.
Yeah.
And I didn't know there was a movie, and now I'm like, hey,
you got to see it.
I'm the weirdo that wants to see that movie. Because I'm a weird history nerd. Perhaps the best Benji movie, my personal favorite, Oh, Heavenly Dog.
Yes. Oh, Heavenly Dog.
The only time where Benji was given a voice.
By Mr. Chevy Chase.
From 1980. I have not seen this movie in a long time.
Yeah. Isn't it Chevy Chase dies?
Yes.
Comes back.
Yes.
In the dog.
Yeah, he's in the dog. Yeah.
And he's got to do something with his family or something?
He's got to fix something or something. I mean, I probably should have read about it before we did this.
He had to do something or something happened. He was a dog.
There's a bathtub and he has a typewriter. That's all I remember.
Oh, he's a reporter.
He's a
reporter, and he gets killed doing a story or something, and somehow gets into a dog, and he's got to solve the crime.
The dog, Benji wears the reporter hat, I think.
Yeah, like the fedora.
Yeah, fedora. Is it a fedora?
Yeah.
Fedora?
It's a Ford-ora. It's either a fedora or a Tribbley.
So then Benji the Hunted in 1987, which we all know is the great Rambo knockoff.
Oh, yeah. Bloody.
So bloody.
Almost rated X.
Wow.
I think they released it unrated because they didn't want to.
Benji the Hunted why they created PG-13?
That's why they created NC-17.
NC-17.
Because it was no sex. It wasn't sex. No. It was all violence.
It's a lot of violence.
It's very Christian that way.
Benji Off the Leash was in 2004, and that was the last movie that Joe Camp directed. He actually, after that, is when he got into horses. This is the weird thing.
What was Benji Off the Leash about?
Benji Off the Leash was actually about, and perhaps the most important Benji movie.
Oh,
I would argue.
This was the one that was nominated for 15 Academy Awards.
Yes.
Benji's List.
It was essentially Benji is part of there's a breeder, and he's overbreeds the dogs, and Benji's mom is one of the dogs that's overbred, and the breeder's son ends up stealing the dog, and he grows up to be Benji, and Benji's great, and then Benji meets another stray dog named Lizard Tongue.
Does he have a long tongue?
Yes, and
what kind of dog?
They need to. I don't know. I didn't know the dog. But they need to. He's a mutt. They're all mutts.
Okay.
But they needed to rescue his mother,
Lizard Mom's
because from the breeder. But this is the thing: is that something that Joe Camp was very good about, and he. I mean, he always attributes to his Christian faith, but like it's just being a good person. But it's always about helping and saving those that need help the most.
Right. He's like Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
He's a true Christian who lives by his faith and is a a testament to what a good Christian. I don't mean to sound condescending or whatever, but there's a lot of people that use Christianity as some sort of shield for their bigotry, or some sort of hammer for their anger. But there are a certain type of Christian, and I think is probably the majority, that are like Jimmy Carter or Joe Camp, that just use their faith to be good people and do good things for people. They truly live the life of the God that they believe in.
Right, exactly. That is a very well way to put it. Jimmy Carter is a good example of that. Yeah. He's just a good person. But after Benji was released in 1974, over the years, Joe Camp has attributed, he said at least 1 million dogs have been adopted from shelters because of Benji.
Wow.
And because of the positive message of going and finding a good dog. And this is what led to Benji off the leash in 2004, about overbreeding. And it's like, the dogs are there, they're loving, they'll love you.
And that was a time, too, when there was a lot, all the Hollywood celebrities had their purse dogs and
they're purebreds.
They were just accessory animals, and they would get rid of them if they did the wrong thing, and other people were getting these animals. And, I think 102 Dalmatians was released around then. And people, anytime, it's funny, it's like certain movies that are released get people to just go buy these purebred dogs or whatever, and then they realize that they're too hard to take care of, and then they get rid of them. But a movie about a mutt that gets people to go to the shelters and pull out these poor dogs that this is their last chance. I mean, that's amazing. And also, I think, it's really good for him to bring a voice to these puppy farms and puppy mills. And just how horrible they were back then. I mean, still are. I mean, let's be honest.
They're not. I think that there's been enough of an outcry that they're not as bad. I think that they're at least more humane.
Right.
But at the end of the day, still, I mean, you look at French bulldogs and how they've been bred into being just like the most deformed looking animals, and
it's not even deformed. They're super cute, but they have such health issues because they're
that's
over.
What I mean.
It's incest, but it's also, if you have the same genes, going and going and going, it's not going. You
need some diversity.
Yeah, exactly. To be able to keep genetic defects from occurring. I think like today we have a problem where a bunch of people adopted puppies during the pandemic, and now they have to go back to work, so they're putting all the puppies back in the shelters. So look, if you're looking for a dog, hit the shelters first. You'll be able to find a purebred or something close. But honestly, you don't want a purebred.
No.
You want a mutt because they're going to live longer. They're going to have a much more diversified DNA.
Yeah.
They're going to be so grateful.
Yeah, they'll be happy. They'll be very happy.
And, it takes some time for them to adjust. It takes about 3 months. It takes a few days for them to stop being scared. It takes them a couple of weeks to kind of get used to the space, and it takes them about 3 to get used to your routine, and then it usually takes about 3 months to get used to their new life.
Right.
So you got to give them time.
You just got to be patient. Yeah. You see a lot of stuff is posted in social media about, it's like, oh, I have this dog, and it's his first night here, and he's already sleeping on my lap, and it's like, that's great, but that's not the case for everybody.
Right.
So you have to be patient.
Yes, and a dog isn't an accessory. It's a living being. You don't own it. It's not a possession. It's a part of your family. It's a roommate.
Yeah.
It's a buddy. So
it's allowing you to take care of it.
If you're grabbing a dog so you can take it to the park and try to hook up, don't get a damn dog.
Don't do it for that. I mean, you can use it for that.
Of course
but
you
make
can.
sure you love the dog first.
Yes, you have to, yes. Make it your wingman, not your accessory.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. So there was a new Benji. So Joe Camp, he stopped directing in 2004 and
retired
out. His son actually directed a new Benji for Netflix in 2018. His son, who was actually in the original Benji, is Joey Camp.
Little Joey Camp.
He's Joe Camp the Third.
He was the Paperboy, I think.
Paperboy. Yeah. And he directed this movie, and it was well received at Netflix.
Good.
Very well received.
It's time. It's time for another Benji. It's time for just another sweet. We don't get just these sweet, simple movies anymore. There's such high concept. There's such and look, they're good movies.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we have horrible movies, but there has to be room for these little sweet films.
Yeah.
Simple films about a dog.
About a dog.
A dog and his buddies.
He also had a TV Christmas special in 1979.
Oh, I remember this.
I've never seen it, so but I'm sure it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And perhaps my absolute favorite, my two favorite Benji-related items. There was a TV show in 1983 called Benji, Zax, and the Alien Prince.
Oh, yeah. They formed a band. It was a ska band.
Oh.
And Benji, he played bass.
Oh.
He's really... I don't know which Benji we had then. Was that Benjine or Ben?
That would have been...
Benjine.
By then, Benjine still, I think.
Yeah, so Benjine really knew how to hit that, slap that bass, as they say.
It was super weird. It ran for 13 episodes.
So it's very Benji, but what happens is this little prince and his robot that looks like a hamburger with eyes popping up on top of it, they land on Earth because they're being pursued by the guy who took over their planet, and he's destroyed all of his political enemies except for this little boy. And so
looks very human.
He does. He looks like a little Ryan Reynolds. So the guy sends a couple of murdering bounty hunters,
mercenaries,
to kill kill. Let's just say kill.
Probably kill
the little prince. So it's basically 13 episodes of Benji, a little alien prince, and this hamburger robot having adventures and trying to escape these two Colonel Zod lookalike from Superman 2 villains.
Benji, the alien ship lands, and Benji just does not care. She's what?
He's so curious.
What?
Benji has no fear, man. No fear. He's probably a sociopath. Because nobody can be that fearless.
But it literally feels like it's a Benji movie. It just has some weird aliens in it.
It's very high concept for Benji.
I've only seen a little bit of it, and I got to be honest, I have to watch all of it.
Smoke weed and watch a little bit of Benji, Zax and the Alien Prince. Where it's legal, of course. If you're in a state where it's illegal.
But don't get caught.
Yeah, exactly.
But perhaps my other favorite thing was in 1983, a video game, Benji Space Rescue for the Commodore 64.
The most amazing graphics ever created for a video game. Nothing to do with Benji. I think there's a brown smear in the spaceship. It's basically a side-scrolling kind of jousty thing.
Kind of like Defender.
Yeah.
But much worse gameplay.
You're just shooting at ships. First of all, you have to descend like 8,000 feet. That takes about 5 minutes before you even start. And then you just shoot these ships, and there's a little brown smear inside of the... I assume somehow Benji is controlling this flying saucer that's shooting other spaceships?
Yeah, it doesn't seem... It seems much like they just kind of slapped Benji's name on it, which seems odd.
It seems very not Joe Campy.
Maybe it was tied into, the Zax and the space alien.
I don't see why. I don't see Joe Camp being behind this inferior product. We need to call him.
I agree with that. Yeah, we'll get him on the phone. Benji, 1974 Benji, was actually nominated for an Oscar.
Oh, Best Picture?
No.
Best Director?
No.
Best Dog?
Best
Female Dog?
Higgins did win a Patsy Award for Petticoat Junction, so he actually is an award.
Patsy? It's an awful name.
It's an acronym.
Wait, so it's not named after Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yes, the Patsy Award. Yes.
The Lee Harvey Oswald Patsy Award goes this year to Benji.
No, it's an acronym. It's for the pet actor something.
Really? It's not.
No, it actually.
It's not Lee Harvey Oswald.
Technically, it is because eventually in Benji the Hunted we know. No, the
Benji actually assassinated JFK. We find that out.
Oh my God, the timeline works.
Yeah, the flashbacks in Benji the Hunted show him on the grassy knoll.
Well, I mean, he would have been
snaggletooth on the trigger.
He would have been hitting maturity right about then.
Yeah?
He would have been able to aim that gun.
Do the research, people.
Was he Badge Man? Or was he Umbrella Man?
Yes.
He was actually the umbrella.
Yeah, nobody suspects the dog, people.
No. Why would they? He's so cute.
Exactly.
He's so cute. It was I Feel Love. The theme song was nominated for
I Feel Love.
Which is so wonderfully sung by Jim. It did not win, unfortunately. Not the Academy Award. It did win a Golden Globe Award for Best Original Song.
Really?
Which was nice for Charlie Rich in the movie.
Good for Charlie Rich.
Do you know which movie it lost to at the Academy Awards? Or which song it lost to?
Yes. I think I do.
It's your favorite song of all time.
Well, no. My favorite song of all time is the one from...
Buck Rogers?
Well,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
But I think you're thinking of the Poseidon Adventure song.
Oh,
which is the one that I loathe.
Yes, that's the yeah. Oh yes, the morning after.
This is the one from Towering Inferno.
Yes.
We may never love like this again. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
That was really good. Wow, that was really impressive.
Thank you. An album. We're going to do the Gen X album coming out.
We're going to have an all-musical show at some point.
Yeah.
No, we're
Steer
not.
Freaking clear of that one, baby.
That is absolutely not.
You've heard my soundtrack song. It is not
good. You think Jim sings well. Just wait till you hear me.
That absolutely angelic, lovely voice.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's not true at all, but that's fine. All right. Well, that's all we got about Benji. Benji's good. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you have a Prime account, so watch it.
Benji, if you love dogs, why not watch Benji? It's a good... That's exactly what that was
the tagline.
If you like dogs, why not watch Benji? If you're going to watch one dog movie this year, well, make it Cujo. But if you're going to watch two, make it Benji. No, Benji is just such a sweet little film, and there's nothing devious behind it. There's there's nothing you can find negative to say about Benji. Except maybe kicking Tiffany 500 times. That was a little excessive.
They drove it home pretty hard.
They did. But they had to, because then when she comes back, it's just so much more emotionally refreshing.
Yeah.
But it's such a sweet movie. Watch it. Check out the other ones. Seriously, check out Benji the Hunted, because it is a really fun movie. It's not an NC-17 Rambo.
It's a good movie. It's a good
knockoff.
Yeah.
No, it's it's an exciting movie, and it's really incredible. Well, what was incredible is Frank Inn, who has always been Benji's trainer.
He's the one that found Benji,
an incredible animal trainer. Mm-hmm. The work that he did with the mountain lion cubs and with the bear and with all the animals, it's just
all those animals. Yeah,
it's an exciting adventure movie with the dog and cubs.
Yeah, it's great. I was about 9 when that movie came out. I remember just loving it.
I was older, but I still dug it. I think I was a teenager, but I still, I'm not going to go see Benji the Hunted. But of course, I snuck away inside in my shame. But no, it was awesome. Even the new Benji, was it on Netflix?
Netflix, yep.
It's sweet, I love horror movies, and I love blood, and I love comedies, and R-rated, and bleep, and bloop. But there is a place for these fun, sweet movies. It's not overly saccharine. Mm-mm. It's not cloying. It's just a fun little romp with a pooch.
It sends a really good message without shoving it down your throat.
It's a universal truth of be good to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Help each other, and, just do the right thing.
Good things happen to those who help each other.
Exactly. Good dog. Who's a good boy?
Well, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with Ooh, hey. Oh, Benji. Oh. We'll be back next week with a very different dog movie.
Cujo.
It'll be great. We'll see you then.
It's... I'm such a spaz. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Blossom, already in progress.